It's a new reading year and a fresh start. Not in a pressure filled read 100 books kind of way, but in a quiet, let's make space for stories kind of way. Hello, it's Bob, and welcome to my 2026 reading journal setup. This video is all about building a journal that will hold every book I read, listen to, and love this year. So let's talk about the journal I'll be using in 2026. This is an Archer and Olive journal. It's the Keeper of Bees journal, and it's an 8x8 square format. I used it in 2025 but hit a really bad slump, so there's a lot of space left. It already feels very well loved, and I kind of like that the journal gets a second chapter in 2026. So let's start with the title page. I wanted the title page to be pretty and sparkly without being too busy. So first I'm trying to lay down a frame, and this frame is from the 2025 Ikigai Papier Advent Calendar. It is a lilac, no, I wouldn't even say lilac, maybe light purple doodle washi tape. And I am going to put on it this pink sparkly cardboard, which was actually a gift. It was packaging from a Christmas gift, and I already cut it out using wavy scissors. It's really funny how much of glitter cardboard I have meant for crafting, but the prettiest ones that I want to use are just random finds. So to fill the background, I'm using the scrapbooking paper and I'm cutting around the borders so that it's not as sharp. And the main focus of this should be that sticker of the girly with the snake and the horse. That is from Ikigai Papier, the advent calendar as well. It has this really nice metallic-esque elements, and when the light hits it, it just looks so good. And filling the background, I'm going in with washi tape from the advent calendar as well. One is a script and one is a cloud washi, and a doily, a square doily. The 2026 is an iron-on that I cut with my Cricut, and I'm going to iron it on to this page. It's purple foil iron-on vinyl. I used a much thinner font this time, so it was way more manageable. I have these really cool holographic stickers. They're from Temu, and I love them. We are going to use them throughout the setup. The idea here is that I wanted the opposite layout to complement the cover page, and so I'm going with this purple theme. I'm using this crepe paper that came with the advent calendar. It was protecting the items, and I cut off this plain creamish brownish paper. It's from Macro. It's a very basic paper. Adding that other washi tape that came with the advent calendar, it's a cloud washi tape, and also some offcuts of that pink glittery cardboard. I didn't want to put too much of the cardboard because it is a bit thick, so I didn't want it junking up the page. Let's talk about the spread. This spread is a needs to read list. These are books that I already own and genuinely need to read this year. It's similar to a TBR or a physical TBR, but I've split it up into needs and wants. I didn't go with the concept of a physical TBR because a lot of these are owned on my Kindle or on Audible, as well as physical books. I have 4 columns, one for title, author, the format I own it in, and the length of the book. I wanted to include the length because I am sort of a mood reader, or I guess I'm just, I do what I want when I want, but it's always nice to have a plan. so I don't get very overwhelmed. So if I'm feeling like reading a longer book or a shorter book or a book about a different story, a book following a series, and I don't want to go through researching to find the book and buy the book, I can always refer to this list. So this list is to reduce that overwhelm and just make sure I hit my goals so I can read the books that I have lying around in my room. I've allocated 2 pages for my needs to read list, and I'm going to just do second row highlights using a Stabilo highlighter and then call it a day. Next is my wants to read list. This page is much more relaxed. These are books that sound interesting, books I've heard people talking about, or books I just might want to pick up if the mood strikes. It's more of a radar than a checklist. It follows the previous layout with 4 columns, but instead of format, I have a series columns to see if it's part of a series. This list does get a bit lengthy. Usually when I'm watching other reading journal videos or plan with me's, I sit with my reading journal and just jot down whatever I find interesting. So I have allocated 3 pages for this layout. I'm also using these gorgeous washi tape and pet tape from the Dried Flowers washi tape set from Notebook Therapy. And I am using that same Cricut iron-on. The problem with the iron-on is, okay, great, it has a thinner font, but it makes it quite difficult to be noticed. So that's why I'm using that creamish brown paper just as a background to make it stand out. I'm also going in with these Stabilo fine liners, I think, and using that to draw up the table, just as the previous spread. I'm just gonna do the same on the second and third page. This map tape, I've used it in every reading journal I have. It's tradition at this point to include it in the spread. And I've just cut it in half because it is a tad bit thick. So on the left page I'll have the heading, but the right wouldn't. This is just so that I don't have to keep flipping to the first page to find out the column headings. And I'm just going to complete the table with the same 2 Stabilo markers. So I'm using the brownish color on the columns and the neon pink on the rows. Above the map tape is a tape from that Dried Flowers Notebook Therapy set, and I thought it went really well with the whole vibe. And also I've been wanting to use this set for so long, but I just never had the opportunity. I'm doing second row highlights again. This is with a Tombow dual brush pen, and I'm just gonna save you the visual of me doing this. And all my second row highlights came out very wonky. Usually I'm good at it, but it's just the vibes. I wanted to fill it in. It was looking a bit too plain. This mini bookshelf is from AM Paper and Art Co on Instagram. And I'm using some of these Into the Library tape. I think it is from that set, I'm not too sure. But it's from Notebook Therapy, and it's a uncut tape that I have to go and cut, which I've done before, but it's so difficult to manage. So that's why I'm on this mission to use it, and I hope that I can actually get through this roll because I have 2 of it and it's a lot. Next layout is my books read layout. This is where things get a bit more detailed. I will print out the book covers and add them here along with my star rating as I read them throughout this year. Over time, this becomes a really nice visual snapshot of my reading year, the moods and the books that really stood out. To do this, I've already mapped out the book covers spacing, and I've just done the corner spacing. The 2 corner symbols are really what matters to me. And I went in with the silicone star rating stamp. I've got the wooden block and I've got the other notebook therapy stamp. I prefer the notebook therapy stamp, but I have to go in with my Tombow, which is hard. I hate the wooden block. So the silicone stamp is much easier. You can actually see where you place it. It just saves your sanity. For decoration on the book's red layout and the bookshelf layout, I'm using this set from Notebook Therapy. It's the Our Stories washi tape set. Every single tape in the set is gorgeous and perfect for a reading journal, so I had to use it. This is the Script-ish washi tape, and it has 2 designs. One is the lighter and one is the darker brown, but it has this gold accents that I just love, and I've used it wherever I could, and I will still continue using it wherever I can. You'll notice that I have numbers in each of the book covers space because I found it much easier throughout the year to help me number my books. When I put the covers, then I'll know how many books I've read. And I put it in pencil because I didn't really need it in ink. It's going to be covered anyways. It's just there to help me. I left space for a little decoration on the bottom right. It's also where I'm going to put my heading for books read. And I'm trying to fill the background, but it was very hard to get anything seen. So I'm going back with AM Paper and Art Co. I swear her stickers are just, I need to use more of it. But I've been pickling it, because it's so pretty. So this set of books are going there. It has this lovely gold accents as well, and it has dragons. I love dragons, and I'm not going to use it in this spread. I'm going to wait for a dragon book so I can use it then. The other side that I'm working on right now, this is my bookshelf. So as I finish books in 2026, I will write the titles directly on the shelf. There's space for about 58 books here. I'm going to be using a sticker from AM Paper on Art Co. And I actually want to retire the shelf. I've been wanting to. I actually don't find any purpose for it. But the sticker is so gorgeous and I'm never going to use it anywhere else. So this year I'm going to be doing it for the last time. To outline it, I actually wanted to draw bricks, but I was a bit lazy, so I'm going in with that script washi from the Our Story set, and that's going to be my background for this gorgeous bookshelf. One day I'm going to own a version of this in real life, and it's going to be glorious. I actually don't know where I got this idea from for this book red space with the covers and the ratings, but I've watched a lot of Jashi Karan, so I'm pretty sure it's her. It's something I adopted from the early onset, and when all the book covers are put here, it looks so satisfying, but it does get busy, so I try to keep the decoration to a minimal. Last year I actually didn't even do decoration because I was convinced that once the the covers were going to be in, it was going to look a bit too busy. But when you're looking at it blank like this, it kind of like, I couldn't leave it. It looks too bare. So we're going to go in with more of these washi tapes from that Our Story washi tape set. This is the smaller tape. You'll see I added the lilac on the top, the lilac doodles from Ikigai Papier, but I actually removed that the next day when I come back to this journal. So don't be worried about that just yet. And I'm stopping here. We're gonna go on to our next layout. This layout is a weird one. It's for audio productions. A weird title, I know. Usually I call it podcasts, but it just didn't feel right. So these will hold all of the audio stories. So these audio stories can be podcasts or full cast productions that could be loosely based off books or completely separate. I have listened to this. It's usually on Audible and I enjoy it. My favorites were Hot White Heist. That one was crazy. And then last year I listened to Mysterious Affairs at the Styles. I don't really want to classify these as books, so I want to keep them separate. This page will have my DNF and 2026 releases list. 2026 releases is not really a list I keep often, but there are some things that are noteworthy and I just wanted a space for that. DNF stands for did not finish. You know, not every book is part of your reading journey and that's okay. Stopping books is okay, but I don't. There's been about one book that I've stopped. I think it's called A Soul to Keep. Yeah, that one just been wild. So when I do, the rare occasion where I do stop books, I'll add them to that list. On the other page is a series tracker. I think I ripped this one from Joshi Curran verbatim. You just list the series and the numbers in reverse. So 1 will be on the right, 2 will be next to it, 3 that way. So if there's additions, you can easily add them in. And it's just a basic table of series and the number in the series. To decorate, I'm using tapes from Notebook Therapy, Luna Delivery Set. I keep getting this confused with Kiki Delivery Service, so I had to do and double check this, but yeah. I'm doing second row highlight with a light purple Tombow. And I'm just going to add in that holographic sticker. This one is a book and feathers, and that's from Temu. Okay, so this is my rating system, and I have done the spread. I'm just not going to show you because I come back and remove everything. I did not like it. I completely change it up, but I will keep my Cricut headings that I've done, so the rating system will stay, and the score pile heading. This score pile heading was printed on the basic vinyl that comes when you buy a Cricut, and yeah, I just needed something clean, so even the font was very basic, so I'm very happy with that. It's a new day and I am back at this cover page because I felt it was leaning a bit more towards the left, so I needed to weigh it on the right. And I found this stamp or postcard, I don't know, ephemera set, and it has this gold foiling, so I thought it would be nice to include it in. And I think it did do what I needed it to do. Also then remembered that Hedda included these stamps in her advent calendar. So I wanted to use it, but I just used the most basic one, which is sparkles. And I'm going to ink that in with my VersaFine ink pad. Here's my attempt of spicing up my spreads, or just making it more interesting by adding these elements from that pet tape in. This one won't really affect my writing. I can still fit in the length on the left because I do have smaller handwriting, so that's fine. But this is also part of my journey of finishing this tape. You can see how I'm struggling with it. It's such a bother, but it must be done. It must be used because that's money. This is where I go in and rip that washi tape out. It did take away some of the page with it, but it's fine. You can't really see it in real life. I guess this camera picks up everything. And then on the audio production heading, it was bare. So I am adding in whatever I can find that fits from these pet tapes. Coming back to the DNF and 2026 releases spread, I just bought this Moonflower Magic set from Notebook Therapy, and I was so amazed. The holographic, I had to use it. So I'm trying to put it in the DNF list and the 2026 releases. There's this, it's a theme with Notebook Therapy sets. It always has this post stamp roll, and this one is the best one I have seen because it has this holographic purple and dark elements. Oh, gorgeous. And I'm just gonna do boxes around DNF and 2026 releases. To do these boxes, I'm just using a 0.5 Copic pen. In order to fill the space up a bit more, I'm going in with this really thin washi tape. It has gold gilding, so I was hoping it matches. When it comes to a DNF list or a 2026 releases list, I don't really fill it in that much. The books that I count, well, first of all, I don't read that many books, so the releases is probably 1 or 2 books a year. Right now I just have Spell Shop, the 3rd book, written in it, and I rarely do DNF books. My books are very carefully selected and I try to stick with it as much as I can. Most of the time I'll just put the book on pause and come back to it at another time, so I wanted to fill these boxes in a bit more with that pet tape. So on to this part 2 of the rating system spread. I used the Vintage Rose washi tapes here before. I didn't like the way it was looking, so I removed it, but I kept the vinyl and that little frame sticker, which was also part of the washi tape roll. I couldn't remove that, otherwise it would have ripped the paper off, so that stays. And I want to use the Moonflower Magic set that I just got. I think it would look really nice and it's too pretty to not use. So yeah, this is a rating system. Core Pile is one that's done by a creator here on YouTube, Book Roast, and I've just made it my version. I've just tweaked it a little bit, but the essence is there. So the way Core Pile basically works is that each letter, CAWPILE, stands for character, atmosphere, writing style, plot, intrigue, logic, enjoyment. You give that a rating out of 10, and then you divide that overall rating by 7 to get an average Core Pile rating. That Core Pile rating then correlates with a star rating. So I've tweaked the star ratings where 0 to 1 would be a 0.5 star, 1.1 to 2 would be 1 star, and everything increments by 0.5 thereafter. I never remember this, so I always need a spread. In 2025, I used Erin Smith's rating system, which is Peach and Mitsu. Peach and Mitsu were for 2 separate ones for fiction and non-fiction books, and it was great. It was a much simpler version of Core Pile, and just you rate PEACH out of 5, divide that, and it's just way easier. But I kind of wanted a more complicated rating system. At the end of the year, when I was doing my book matrix to find out the book of the year, it was a bit difficult because a lot of the books I read had very similar ratings, and a lot of them were 5 stars, and I felt like although I enjoyed it, does everything need to be 5 stars? So I'm gonna try Core Pile again this year because I did tweak it so that it's a lot harder, and let's see how that goes. Since I'm using the same journal as 2025, I already have Peach and Mitsu spreads in it, so I can always refer back. I will still be using Mitsu for nonfiction books, but the Peach rating system would be for books I've already kind of got an idea about how I would want to rate it. So that's what I would do there. So it'll be a lot of like back and forth, Corpile versus Peach. And I'm happy with that because it makes a lot more sense to me and how I view books. If I'm stuck when rating books, I have a little bit of questions on the spread. So for characters, it will be how familiar or invested was I in the characters. For atmosphere, how did I feel about the world building? For writing style, was it easy to follow? Was it creative or was it distracting? For plot, how excited was I to turn the page? Intrigue, can I put the book down? Was it dragging? For logic, no gaps in the story, or were there any characters that acted out of place? And for enjoyment, would I reread this book, or did I go through the feels, or would I recommend this book? I think those are good indicators and just helps drive my ratings for each of that factors of Corpile. To talk about the decoration, for the ratings, the star ratings and the Corpile ratings correlation, I have that table from a journaling kit. And then I just added this holographic sticker because there was a bit of space in the middle. And I'm using an offcut from the cover page, which is that glitter cardboard. I love how it all came together, and it's probably one of my favorite layouts in the setup. The next page, the one I'm working on right now, this is the reading challenge tracker, or it's also known as a book goal or the Goodreads challenge, but now this book goal is available on every app, so I didn't feel comfortable calling it the Goodreads challenge. It's just a gentle push to read a little more consistently throughout the year. For 2026, I have set my book goal to 30 books. In 2025, it was 25, and I want to push myself just a little bit. I barely made it last year. So I hit 25 books early on in the year, and then I lost motivation to keep reading, and I hit that slump. So this year I just upped it a little, so let's see if I can hit it. No pressure. For decor, on the right, I used the Into the Library pet tape from Notebook Therapy. This is perfect for this space. And I just used as much stickers as I could find. That sticker, I now put it in the middle. It looks like a G, but it's actually a C. And I thought since it's a G, it'd be good to put it under, the official Goodreads challenge spread. But yeah, it's a C. It's fine. It looks perfect anyways. And then I'm going in with my stamp set to just stamp in the numbers in each block. Each block obviously has a number that will be 1 to 30, and as I read a book this year, I will then go in and color in the block. So I'm able to keep count of how many books I have read and how far I am from my goal. I'm now just adding shadows with a Tombow 910 pen. This is the Book of the Year matrix. Each month I will take the highest rated book and place it into the matrix. These then get compared against each other, and at the end of the year we will get the top 3 reads of 2026 by rating. This is the reason why I wanted to go back to Corpile. I think last year it kind of flopped at the end because I didn't read for a lot of the months, and then I had like too many 5-star reads as well, so I basically had to like pick and choose what will be the first, second, third book. So that's why I'm hoping the decimal points in Corpile just gives us a bit more of direction. The numbers correlate to the month of the year. Something else I did last year, I put in the letter of the month, which is like J, F, M, but you actually need to write which month one in the squares below. So it gets confusing when, J has January, July, and June. So I went for numbers this year, and that should be much better than letters. At the end of the year, I can then go back and count how many times 1 appears in the row and write that down. Similarly with the rest of the months, and then I'll be able to see how many times a book or a month has 1. The green highlights that I've done with a Tombow pen, that's where I'm actually going to write the book that has 1 for that month and the rating in it. And I've just went ahead and put the first, second, third square in the bottom. That's where I'll print the book cover out. That pet tape on the side is something I also just received. It's part of the Secret Garden gift set from Notebook Therapy. It just went so wonderfully here. I'm loving the entire vibe, and I'm adding in still stickers from that Secret Garden tape and that pet tape as well. Alright, this layout is for formats read and subscriptions used. The formats read, which is what I'm working on now, would be a stacked bar graph. The y-axis will have the number of books, and the x-axis will have the month of the year. There will be 2 bars in each month. One will be for books read, and the next bar would be for books listened. And each square I would fill out for each format. This square would be stacked one on top of the other. So under read, it could be ebooks or physical books. Under listened, it could be audiobooks, productions, or podcasts. I think this is a nice way of seeing everything all at once, and that's why I went with this idea. The next tab is subscriptions used. This is a basic tally of when I use a subscription or membership perk. I'm tracking Kindle Unlimited, Audible, and Everand, but I did leave a space in the bottom for Spotify. I do see books on Spotify, but I'm not sure if it's legal in my country because it seems like people have uploaded it and there's not quite a big variety. So I try not to use, I don't use the Spotify ebooks portion, but if I ever do, at least there's a space for it. The subscription used blocks would follow the same key. So let's say Everand has ebooks and audiobooks. I will color that block with the appropriate color. Granted, Kindle Unlimited would probably only have ebooks. To decorate, I'm using tapes from the Secret Garden set, and I'm adding the headings with the iron-on vinyl. Also, we shall ignore that my listen got smudged. It's still like that to this day. It is what it is. I'm filling in all of the empty spaces with this sticker roll that was included in that set. But I don't know, I think I skipped it on my camera, so you get the final version only, unfortunately. This next 4 pages are for the book clubs I'm part of. These tapes I bought from Temu and I don't like them. They look so AI. Usually I don't care about Temu stuff, but this one just looks and I had to use it somewhere, so I'm using it here. The 4 book clubs that I'll be part of is the Page Majors Book Club, which is run by Erin Smith and her YouTube members in the Page Majors tier. That's on Discord. The next is Mochi Bujo's Book Club. This is also run by her Patreon members and it's run entirely in Discord as well. Then it's the Goobers Who Read, also in Discord. And then it's the Library of Kate's Book Club, which is Paperback Pals. This is actually moved to Fable. And I'm happy this year that it's 1 book every 2 months, so at least it makes it a bit breathable. I'm under no obligation to read 3 or 4 books a month from these book clubs, but it is nice to have it there. It's great picks, the discussions are great as well, and it's just nice having a community. I really value the Mochi Bujo book club. They pick a lot of classics that, you know, as someone who hasn't read since like early high school, it's nice knowing what's out there. And Library of Kate last year, she did Romantacione picks, so it helped me expand my knowledge of books in that genre. I don't always get to read the books in the month that they are chosen for. I do read it out of the month, and sometimes I just lose interest and move on to the next book in my TBR. It's all okay. No one's putting pressure on me. No one's messaging me and be like, you have to read this book. It's very chill, and I'm very grateful to be part of each of these book clubs and be part of the communities. So the gist of these spreads is that I will print out the book covers for each book that is picked for each book club for that month. And then I'll add it here. I'll add in the book title and the author underneath. And then I also started doing this where I add a star next to that. So if I've read the book, that will have a star for me. I probably use this the most. As the book is picked, I add it here so that I'm able to create my plan for the next month. And yeah, it's very satisfying to see at the end of the year. So this is a must-have in each of my setups. In this Ikigai Papier stamp set, I noticed they had a smaller months of the year stamp, so perfect to use it here. I use the stamp for every page. I kind of wish I have other stamps that are a bit thinner. I kind of wish I did variations like I did last year. But overall, not too bad. I enjoy this font and it just adds something different. Something I failed to mention was that I did print the logos for each of the book clubs. Mochi Bujo doesn't have a name for a book club or a logo, so I just printed the picture she uses on YouTube. And I do wish that I printed it slightly bigger, maybe 1/2 centimeter bigger, but it's fine. It looks okay at the end. I'm still kind of peeved at these AI tapes. They look so fake, but it's okay. I bought it, no wastage. I will use it. I'm then just gonna highlight each of the months with a Tombow marker. I used purple for Page Majors, orange for Mochi Bujo. I used green for Goobers Who Read, and I used pink for Library of Kate Paperback Pals. And this was just what I found that matched the tapes that's in the middle. I'm just adding the last holographic sticker here, and yeah, that's it for these spreads. Now, I did print some of the pics. I did this reading journal quite late in the year. or in January. So a lot of the pics has already been done for January. I printed those book covers and I'm just adding it here, but I'll go ahead and add the title or write the title and the author's name later. This layout is for the Year of Goober Reading Challenge run by Goobers Who Read. Ghosty Goober is a baker who needs to learn new recipes. Each month has 2 reading prompts that correspond to a baked item. So when I complete a prompt, Goober earns his baked good. I was thinking what to actually do to show the prompts I've read or the baked goods that I've read for that month. And I'm thinking maybe I should just eat it in real life. So the first month I think is sourdough and banana bread. I have ate banana bread already in January, but I did the prompt for sourdough. So yeah, weird, but you know what, it's a trial and error. So I left the right page blank, so at the end of year I can figure out how I want to show that. But I think I'm going to take like a Polaroid picture of each of the baked good that I've earned, or Ghosty Goober has earned, and I'll put it on that spread. It'll be very nice and also a little bit of a cheat meal, but it's fine. It's Goober and Ghosty Goober. Anything for Ghosty Goober, right? So for the actual layout, I went for a simple table. This table will have 2 rows for each month, and that will be the prompts. Then it'll have columns. The first column will be month, then baked good, then the actual prompt for the baked good, and then the book that I plan or have read. And that's it. Coming back to that to fill in the details after this. Let's move on to the next one. This is a new challenge that I'm doing. I got recommended by someone on one of the Discords because I mentioned how into Jellyfish I am recently, and they're like, hey, did you hear about the Jellyfish challenge? I was like, what? No. So this is run by the Jellyfish journals over on YouTube, and it has 15 prompts. There is a jellyfish in each of the prompt and a little prompt that correlates to the jellyfish. Like, one is the moth stinger, and you have to read a book with a weapon on the cover or the title. So it's a very chill, laid back. It's not limited to a month, and I can do like 2 books or 2 prompts in a month. So that's nice. I do want to commit to this challenge, and in order to do that, I wanted to do a nice spread that shows me how far I have come. I'm so excited. I have already planned out the books I want to read. They are books that I wasn't planning on reading, like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but these are books that I've been wanting to read for so long. So this is a nice push to get me to actually read the books. And I might just read Aragon or reread Hunger Games because a lot of the books there fulfill the prompts. So we shall see. Exciting. Then for the actual spread and the deco, I almost forgot that we were setting this up. I've printed out the jellyfish that she used on her slide, I think Google Slides, and I've just cut that out with my Cricut, and that's gonna be placed on this card-like items in the middle. Then on the top I'm gonna actually write in the jellyfish, and the bottom I'm gonna write in the prompt. And then I have a space for the book covers as well. Then I also want to color in the card when I'm done with that prompt, just so that it looks colorful, because as of now it looks kind of plain. And I have this holographic paper that I bought from Temu a while ago, and I used a vinyl that came with the Cricut. You know, when you buy it, it's like one of the test vinyls. And I printed that Jellyfish challenge out with that. I do wish I went thicker with it though, because it's looking a bit thin, but that's fine. I'm not going to waste it. And then I thought that this tab, because it's 15 prompts, it didn't really fit in a 2-page layout, so I cut a Dutch door or half door. You know, we actually call it half doors here, and the word Dutch door didn't make sense to me for a very long time. So yeah, anyways, it's gonna be a page tab cutout, Dutch door, half door, and that's how I'm gonna be able to fit in 15 of these cards. And to make that tab stand out, I just added a skinny washi from the dolphin set or the whale set from Notebook Therapy. And then comes the satisfying part where I remove the backing paper from all of the ironed on headings, and then we are done for the setup. This journal is part planner, part tracker, and part creative space, and I'm genuinely so excited to fill it this year. If you love reading journals, book tracking, or just watching pages come together, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to take you along as these pages fill up. I hope you enjoy your day, your week, your night, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.